never see again.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world, you are watching Now Media Television.
Broadcasting from Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, this is Be Productive, hosted by business strategist and productivity expert Clara Capano. Join us to discuss the most critical issues affecting our businesses with a fresh, practical, and objective discussion on the first bilingual media network in the United States. Be Productive starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and this is the show where we meet with industry experts talking about key strategies to help you show up with more focus, intention, and purpose so that you can make sure that you're living each day as productive as you can. Today's topic is leadership. You know, a big key to helping us not only create strong systems for productivity, but also being able to maintain that level does fall on leadership. So we're going to be talking with 3 of today's top leaders who are going to give us strategies to help us build a culture, to set expectations, and also to encourage our team so that they can level up and make sure that they are working at their highest level of production. You're not going to want to miss this, so go ahead and get something to take notes with, because we'll be right back and we'll be diving in to leadership and how to be productive.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
We are here at Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano, and we are diving into the topic of leadership today. And more importantly, how as leaders, we can create an environment that is going to foster increased productivity for our team. So I am very excited to have my dear friend, Justin Knoll, here with us. So Justin, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Very
excited. So, Justin, you have been in leadership for countless years. And you have, done leadership with small teams. You ran your own real estate team. You've also run large real estate offices, and now you do a lot of consulting for leaders. So talk to me a little bit about the role that you feel leaders have in helping their teams be more productive.
Absolutely. I think this is one area that leaders do get confused on what their actual role is. I view leadership as advancing the vision of the organization, the company, whatever it is, not in the weeds, not in the minutia of the daily grind of it, but really making sure that vision and where we're going as a collective breathes and lives throughout each member of the organization. And that really is where it becomes, you've got to be a better listener. You've got to take time to talk to people and really hear what they're saying, show a lot of empathy. But this time right now, in this moment in history, I do believe people are seeking and needing leadership like never before. And we've really got to step up our game and take it to a new level.
So, going back to one of the things that you talked about as far as communicating the vision, I think that's challenging because I don't think a lot of leaders either have a clear vision for themselves, or maybe they don't even act in accordance with the vision. So what I'd love to ask first is, how does a leader get a vision? How does a leader communicate the vision? And what is the importance of following the vision for a leader?
Absolutely. I think, if you're a leader and you're at home thinking of the vision by yourself, living in a vacuum of, if I say these right words and put together the right mission statement, then it's going to live and breathe through this organization. That's not true. Today's organizations want multifaceted feedback from everybody involved, from top to bottom, and everywhere in between. And that's where I think great leaders really need to do a better job is finding all the feedback that they can and using it to then come up with this vision that encapsulates everything. You do not want to leave anybody out, especially today. You do not want to have a vision that does not mesh with everybody. So there's going to be some compromises, right? The vision is not always exact or perfect, but it gets a body moving all together at one time. And for me, I think I quantify everything through culture and how you live and breathe together and what that looks like. So for me, there's three things on culture that matter most. Number one, you've got to create safety where you are. Your organization must provide safety that somebody can stand up in a meeting and say what they want to say to be heard and not be judged or cast away. Free from harassment, free from knowing that my check is going to clear or not. It's all these safeties that we can find that creates our number one human need, and that is certainty, right? So if we can get to number one, just creating safety, I'm here, I listen, I'm empathetic, I will put your words and feedback into action as best I can. That's number one. Number two is making sure that you see the full potential in everybody on your team, not what they see in themselves, but what you see in them. And then codifying a clear message, a clear path to get them, how you will help them get to that full potential, blowing out of the water where they thought they were on their own, right? So that's number two. So we've created safety, and now we've opened their eyes to seeing more of themselves than what they see. And number three is an absolute living and breathing of a clear vision from the top throughout the organization. The first two happen pretty regularly. It seems like this is kind of the fun part. The third part is this clear vision throughout all the time is where most organizations will fail. The leadership will hold on to that vision and go, well, this is where we're going, everybody follow. And everybody following is going, well, I don't know where we're going, right? Mm-hmm. And so we forget to really put that clear vision together. This needs to come through in all of your personal one-on-one meetings. Remember, this is where we're going and why. It needs to come through in your team meetings, any coaching or accountability sessions. You must remind them of what we're doing and why, so they can buy into it. They've got to have some ownership in it to really make this thing stand. So those three things, if you can get those three at any given time, you're doing pretty good. And that will put you on a pretty darn good path of leadership, creating that vision and then following through on that vision.
I think the following through is really critical. So I think, as leaders, we have to do a better job of also checking in on ourselves and, you talked about creating safety. Well, I think that goes both ways. We have to, again, allow ourselves to feel safe so that people can come to us, and understanding that, this feedback, as long as it's coming from a place of love, is meant to help the organization. So let's talk some brass tacks here and strategies. As a leader, if you're noticing that one of your team members is not really working up to their level, that they can do. They're being busy, but they're not being productive. What are some of the best strategies that you've been able to work with leaders on to help them re-engage their team and get them to the level of productivity and setting that standard?
Yeah. When you get behind in leadership or your company's a little behind, it feels like quicksand, right? You're trying to do everything all at once, multiple times, and you're not doing any of it well. And people see that. They see the chaos. They see the duck feet under the water going crazy, and everything feels peaceful, but it's not. So I think what you can do is really slow it down and focus on one or two things that we're going to work on. Look, whoever you're talking to, I know we've had some issues here. Performance is lacking in this arena. I think what we need to do is let's reset what we're actually focused on and how we're going to get there. And let's just spend the next 21 days creating really good habits to make sure that this is really going to be what you do on a daily basis. Not a question of if, but you just do it. So I would get to that one core central part that really is the kind of the thorn in the side of the organization or that person's work relationship with you, and dig into it and just keep it so simple and just give them time, grace, and direction to get there, empathy on the process the way through to make sure they are feeling loved and taken care of and accounted for. But then at that 21-day mark, that's when it gets real. That's when you've got to put on the big kid britches and go, okay, now we got to see the work. We've got to see what you've been working on for these 21 days. After that, I think you've got to give them a deadline. You've got to give them a finality of, if we can't get to this by this time, is it fair for us to agree that this may not be the best fit and that perhaps you need my help finding a different spot for you that suits your needs? And that's the empathy coming through. We're not attacking them, but they do feel heard and they do feel like there's a plan. Really, at the end of the day, that's what people want, is to make sure there's a plan. I have a plan in place for where I'm going and why. So that's our job as leaders, is create a small, finite plan to get them going.
That. So, let's talk about where we are this day and age, because you talk a lot about culture and building a culture. But let's be honest, coming out of the pandemic, so many people are now remote, and some have come back part-time, some haven't come back at all, and some of the people watching the show are going to have a multi-billion-dollar industry where they have people all over the globe. How can a leader maintain a culture when there's not a central location that people are coming to?
Yeah, I think it's constant touches. It's constant feedback from them. It's not letting them get too far away, right? You'll know as a leader, when you're not connected to somebody, it. And if you're asking, am I connected to them still? You probably are not. That question's already answered for you. So I think finding small ways, and that's one thing you used to tell me, if I have to ask the question, I probably already know the answer. This is one of those where you've just got to be honest and real. Look, I'm feeling disconnected from you guys as a group. How can we get together and get back to our core mission here of advancing this vision? I think, Zoom is tough. I'm not a big Zoom fan, but boy, how cool is it that it gives us ability to do things like that, right? And really share. So I think rather than saying I'm not a big fan of Zoom, just say, I'm going to embrace the opportunity to connect with you guys. As a group, get together, have a lot of conversation, listen more than you speak. But then one thing that I always do is dig into the individual as well. So after a group call, and maybe you've got hundreds or thousands of people under you, that's not so, it's not such a practical, reasonable thing to do to call everybody, but giving them your personal attention and just saying, look, my goal here is to advance the vision through these 3 core values of culture. How am I doing? Ask them to grade us, right? Give honest feedback to them. They're going to give it to you. And I think once they have this open line of communication, that really closes that gap of feeling detached from each other. We don't have to physically be near each other.
Right. And I think that goes back to, again, the safety is we have to be able to foster that safe communication. Again, it has to be productive communication, and it has to be solution oriented for the good of the growth of the organization and all the parts. But we still have to be able to do that. And I think as leaders, if we expect our people to listen to us, we need to be able to listen to them as well.
Yeah.
So, which leads me into our last question before we start to close something out. Since, you are really focused on creating culture, one of the things we talk about in Ninja Selling that I do some teaching and work with is the fruit bowl, and the idea that one bad fruit can spoil the entire bowl. So how important is it to have the right people as you're working on building a culture? And what are some of the best tactics maybe to bring the right people in, or, get rid of some of the people? And I know we only have a minute or two, but what's your thoughts on that?
Hire slow, fire fast. Okay. Hire slow, fire fast.
Tell me more about that.
So take a longer time, do multiple interviews with somebody, ask multiple questions in different settings and at different times. Everybody can prepare for one interview and knock it out of the park. Well, not everybody, but most people can. But then is that the real person? I want to see you multiple times, 2 and 3 and 4 steps of doing this. Number one, it tells that applicant or that person you're thinking about, oh, they're taking this serious. And that lays the foundation for how you're going to work the whole way through. I always advise against hiring anybody the first time you talk to them. Mm-hmm. Even when you're desperate, even when you know you're going to hire them, go away, stop talking to them, and create some space to come back, because you'll learn more in that second interview than you will that first. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as firing fast, if you know something's wrong, you have to have your moral compass in place and go, this is not okay. My first job is to advance the vision of this company, which means I must protect it and do no harm. And so we're just in different places at this time. And I wish you luck is where you go with that. But boy, I see too many leaders hanging on. It's ego, it's pride. Oh, I think I can fix them, or I think I can mend this relationship. They don't want your mending. They want to be gone. That's why they're acting the way that they are. And
what I love that you just said is it has to be a business decision. What is best for the health of the organization? Has nothing to do with if I personally like you or dislike you. It's just, are you fostering and, putting us in a direction that we want to go? And sometimes, again, it's not a good fit. And you don't have to feel like a failure. We've all done it. But again, swallowing that pride and going back to what is our main objective? And our main objective is laid out in our cultures and values. So I love that.
One thing I have said before is I love and care for you, or like and care for you enough to know that this is not a good situation for either of us. And I'm here to set you up the best I can. So feel free to say.
Love that. So Justin, thanks so much. We covered a lot of great things here on being a stronger leader and, again, fostering more productivity. I know you are working on a lot of great stuff. So tell us briefly, where can people find you and what are you working on right now?
Yeah, I do some coaching a lot in the real estate industry for associations, brokerages, MLSs. There's so much going on right now. You can find me at justinnoel.co, not .com. Some guy in San Francisco has that one, .co. So I do some coaching there, some consulting, which is a lot of fun. I'm also a co-founder of a couple of startups on the tech side, which if anybody knows about me, I'm not a tech guy, but for our clients, for the general public, when they're transacting real estate, the way that we're doing it is very archaic. And so we're looking to advance that, and I'm proud to be a part of that. And my co-founder is free. So that's what I'm doing.
Love it. Always got a few fires going on there. That's one of the things I love about you. Always evolving, just like me. Sometimes a blessing and a curse at the same time. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And for all of you watching, stay tuned. We're going to be talking more about how we can be productive as leaders. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course. My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250,000 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano. And today we are talking leadership and productivity. How can we as industry leaders motivate, inspire, and help create an environment that is going to be conducive to keeping our team productive? So I am honored to have my dear friend Donnie here with us. So Donnie, welcome to the stage. You know, you are one of the strongest leaders I know and have created a platform with your Success Champions group. And what you really focus on with them is, again, showing up with a lot of intention, focus to really help them not just be busy, but work with purpose. So I would love to hear, you know, as a leader, what are some of your best strategies to help people stay productive?
Well, you know, for me, it's always my whole leadership style comes from you go, I go. So I never ask anybody to do something that I won't do myself. So oftentimes, if I need somebody to do a product or a project or something, I've already done it somewhere in the history of the company. So I have a good understanding what needs to be done. But I'm very much also the same guy that says, here's the end goal. This is where you need to get to. Show me what you got. We run this really fun acronym. It's called ADD. And I have ADHD, so it really, really helps. And it stands for Action, Document, Delegate. And what I do is I'll usually take an action, I'll document the process, I'll hand it to somebody else, allow them to actually do the process and create the real process, and then we'll hand that to a third person, and it keeps everybody online. That way there's an SOP created and they can do a lot of cool things from there.
Yeah, I love that. And I think streamlining things and creating systems, you know, anytime you have to do something more than twice, you need to create a system around it. So I think that really helps them. If you notice that people are, you know, holding back, maybe I'll kind of use the word, if they're being a little lazy, what are some things that you do to kind of retune people and gather them back in to, you know, make sure that you're helping them focus on what they need to focus on?
I don't. And the reason being is I want people that have a passion and love what they do. And let's be honest, not everybody's going to maintain a level of passion about your company, and nobody's going to be as passionate about your company as you are. So if people get to the point where this is no longer fun and this has just become a mundane job, then I will help them find something better for them, and we'll find somebody else that wants to come into that role. And since we're an open book like that, I find more often that people will stay engaged. We have a champions code, and I'll clean it up for your show. It's called Go Break Things. And we just know that when the business gets stagnant, we're not growing. It's because we're not innovating and trying new things. And you got to have somebody that totally geeks out on what they do to be able to get innovative and continue to grow. So we're never going to try and motivate them.
Yeah. And I do think that there is something to be said for really, connecting with what makes them passionate and what drives them. Somebody once asked me if I thought that motivation or discipline was more important. And for me, I am more disciplined when I know my motivation. What is your thought about knowing, your vision and staying connected to your vision?
Vision is everything. If you know where you're going, like we're literally changing how the world networks right now. And knowing that mission makes it really, really easy to stay focused. But if you don't have a vision of any sort, then it's really hard to even have the discipline or find a motivation to do it. So for me, discipline trumps everything, because I think discipline creates motivation because you're constantly showing up and you can celebrate your small micro wins along the way, which helps you stay in the game further. But consistency and discipline is what's allowed me to build everything we've built so far.
Yeah. Talk to me more about the celebrating the small wins, because I find people don't do that. They wait until the big one. But how do you encourage people to celebrate? Do you do it quarterly, weekly, daily? What do you suggest?
Oh, it's daily. It's daily. If you don't celebrate the small wins, you'll never get the big wins. So for us, most of our meetings, internal corporate meetings, we start off, all right, well, what are we celebrating? What's awesome? What do you need to win? And it's funny, you ask somebody what we can celebrate for you. What's something awesome? What have you won? And a lot of people get stone-faced because they've never thought about what's their win. They've never thought about what they've tried to create or do and the like. So by creating an environment where you have to share a win, we don't allow anybody to pass. And it doesn't have to be a business win. It can be a personal win. But you'll find the more people get comfortable actually celebrating the things they've done or things they do, the more abundant life they live and the more cool things that seem to happen to them.
So true. So outside of losing connection with their motivation or their vision, what are some other things that you think pull people off focus and off their productivity?
Life. We run another champions code called Family First. And I'm just a guy that be at the game, be with the family, if somebody's got a health issue, be there. There's nothing more important than being around your family. So creating that environment where they know they're not going to get fired, they're not going to get let go, they're not going to get because they're with somebody on their deathbed, or there's a family emergency, or there's a kid's baseball game. We've heard, you and I grew up, man, we heard all the people that missed all the kids' stuff. They missed a baby's first step. I'm never going to create that environment. I'm very much a family first guy. So by giving them that environment, it helps them from not getting so distracted because they're not putting so much pressure on themselves to be at the job. It's get the work done, but family first.
Yeah, I love that. I know one of the companies that I worked with, they actually stopped giving us quote unquote vacation days because they said, we know you're working. If you need a day off, take a day off, don't abuse the system. But just knowing that I had that sense of freedom really re-engaged me even just with the company. And it made me feel like they were paying attention to me and what matters. And I really am a firm believer that environment is everything. So talk to me a little bit about networking. How important is networking in also helping us to maintain our level of productivity?
Well, I love that. I think you have to define networking. What people think networking is to get around amongst people and to generate a lot of referrals for their business. And it's the wrong way to look at networking. Referrals are Bob meets Sally. Sally, I've told Bob all about your services and he's really excited to talk to you. There's a sales call attached to that, right? If you network for referrals like that, you're going to lose because referrals ultimately should come from your clients. You service the heck out of your clients. You treat them really, really well. It's like, when you find a new restaurant in a local area. It's a new amazing restaurant. The first thing you do is run out and tell everybody about this restaurant. If you service the heck out of your clientele and make their world amazing, they're going to tell people about you and they're going to open doors for you. So networking then is all about getting introduced to the right people, the right places, and the right things. It's not about looking for your end user client. It's about getting introduced to the people who are working with your end user client so you can create some amazing collaborations, get a lot of doors open. So what we've found is by putting the right people in the right groups that are going after the same similar type of clientele, different industries, that you create this environment of consistently opening doors and people just growing their businesses crazy, because now they're sitting with 20 or 30 people that they're proud to introduce and tell other people about, because those same people are doing the same for them. And nobody's trying to sell anybody anything, in that room. They're all trying to figure out, how do they collaborate? How can they go after bigger clients together? And just that shortcuts the entire process, to where you can literally grow your business in a rapid pace, because now you're dialed into not trying to sell the room, but trying to network with the room.
Definitely. And also the quality of connections that you're going to make are going to be so much higher. So it's also going to allow you to be more productive, because you're going to be connected with the right people, the right clients. So you're working again at that higher level.
Absolutely.
Love that. So I want to talk a little bit about distractions, because I think that distractions, we talked about family, but not necessarily making family a distraction, but all those things like all the emails, the social media. Do you have any specific tips or tricks that help you manage distractions so that you can be more focused?
Yep. Stop consuming. This is my biggest thing. Most people that watch shows like this, listen to my podcast and the like, they're in a growth phase of business. They're trying to grow their business, trying to grow their life. They're trying to get things going. If you're in a growth phase of business, stop consuming, and that's a detriment to my own podcast when I tell people that, because we have a teaching. But what happens is the more you consume, the more you become Doug from the movie Up, and you squirrel out every 5 seconds because everything becomes that shiny object. Everything becomes the answer. And when you start consuming, for some reason in your head, you get a lot of, that's the thing that's going to work. It becomes that silver bullet, if you will, that you go try and go down. What needs to happen for most people, so you don't get too distracted, is you need to get focused on one thing, right? Get singularly focused on what you sell. Sell one thing, get that thing stupidly successful, and then move on to the other thing. Put a barometer in place that says, if it does not help me sell this one thing, I don't do it. Find success in that one thing. And then once you've found that level of success and you're like, okay, this was working as a path, go back to consuming, because you can't stop learning, but you're going to learn more in the moment working on your singular focused thing than you will consuming all this stuff and not doing anything.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, let's say I wanted to learn about leadership, I can focus on just learning and in that, rather than consuming podcast books in 5 different areas, just really focus on only leaning into consuming information in one area so that I can really level up my level of mastery.
Yeah, that. And, I would challenge that. Let's say you need to learn to be a better leader, right? I'd agree, go singularly focus on that. But part of that being a better leader is go lead. Go get people to do the things you need them to do. Go hold people accountable to what they said they were going to do. Go hold yourself accountable to being a better leader. And what you're going to find is the more you actually try to be a better leader, the more you're going to be a better leader just by simply doing the act of it. I think intrinsically, every one of us knows how to be good at whatever we're trying to learn. We usually have enough working knowledge to be able to make a thing work. Go in and just do the thing, and you're going to learn the process. This isn't the fake it till you make it stuff. This is literally do the work until the work's done, and you will become the thing you're trying to become.
Yeah, I really love that, because I think, we can get so busy preparing for things that we don't take the actions. And I think action begets action. And when we get into action, it just makes us more productive, because again, we're living it, we're doing it. So I think there's a lot to that of consume as much as you can, but at some point in time, you got to get out there and put it into practice.
Yeah, very much so. And I for me, life is a series of regimented activities. So I love the book Atomic Habits. It's one of the best books written on habits out there. And one of the things he talks about in the book is the habit stacking. Well, I knew LinkedIn, needed to be a platform for me this year. So I decided LinkedIn was going to be the platform I went all in on. And I knew to make it work, I was going to have to get extremely regimented. Well, I do my morning walks every morning because it sets the day. No sounds, no anything. I go walk for 45 minutes. But what I did, as soon as I came in from that walk, I sat down and started doing my LinkedIn, and I follow a pretty cool LinkedIn process. And I only say that to say, by getting extremely dialed in on that one thing, just doing LinkedIn, no other platforms, that's my platform, I grew by 10,500 followers since January, and we've added a zero to the bottom line of the company because of that consistent daily action. It's created that momentum wheel that keeps on going. And what happens to most people is they go and they're like, okay, this is going to be the thing. They do it for 5 minutes and they stop doing it and go, okay, that sucks them out.
Exactly.
Versus getting in there and continuing to do it.
Ah, fantastic. Well, Donnie, you've given us so much to think about. I really love the idea of, again, being focused, really hyper-focused in one area. I love the idea of networking with purpose, of collaboration, making sure we're there to serve. And I just appreciate you sharing so many of these tips. Where can people find you, and what's something exciting that you have going on now?
Yeah, absolutely. And appreciate you having me on. And guys, if you've made it this far in this show and you've been watching this, do Clara a favor and take a screenshot of where you're watching this and put it out in social media. Tag me, tag Clara. If I see the tag, I'll come comment on there. But it lets her know that this is the kind of stuff that you guys are really enjoying watching and you're into. If you want to get in touch with me, if you'll text the word success to 817-318-6030. That's 817-318-6030. Text the word success. I'll send you a couple of videos and all stuff. It also gives you all the links to my shows, my social medias, and the likes from that. So, but best thing you can do for me, guys, is share this show out for Clara. It'll mean everything to her.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. And this is why you are one of the best leaders I know. You know how to create that environment of abundance. So everyone, I hope you took lots of notes and, make sure that you don't turn away from this. Again, lean into this information. So we'll be right back after this short break.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course. My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250,000 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hi, and welcome back to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and today we are going over leadership and the role that leaders have in helping their teams stay productive. So we have an amazing expert with us, and when we talk about expert, she is in it. So Christine, welcome to the show. Christine Fodor, she is a PhD candidate, and you talk about leadership, but specifically like toxic environments. So talk to us a little bit about how the environment that a leader creates can foster or possibly impede productivity.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent 20 plus years in the space now, and my PhD work focuses heavily on the impacts that toxic leadership has on productivity in the workplace and on healthiness of the workplace. And so the truth of the matter is 85% of employees right now are experiencing workplace conflict, and that's super stressful. And so as leaders, we're really responsible for mitigating, mediating, and really diminishing that in the workplace.
Yeah. And I just think, again, the leaders have so much power, to, again, really create that environment that either is going to allow people to grow or, again, people shrink back. So what are some things leaders Well, let's talk about the negative side first. What are some things some leaders should be aware of as far as things they should stop doing in order to maintain a higher level of productivity with their team?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing I come across is when we make decisions from a place of fear, we end up in power and control struggles. And most leaders are well-meaning and they don't realize the damage that they're doing. And so it becomes, you become fearful when you're in over your head, when you don't know how to make a right answer, when you don't know how to make a good decision, when somebody's challenging you and you don't know how to communicate effectively or mediate the conflict effectively. That's when we tend to falter. And I think, when we falter, we then go back and kind of hit these, we go back into patterns that maybe don't help us grow and help others grow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about communication because, communication is important. And I think with the age of technology, there are certain times where communicating via technology is fine. And there's other times where you really should pick up the phone and get voice to voice or face to face. As a leader, how do you know the best modality and when to use what type of communication?
Yeah, I always say you got to breathe in your discomfort and be able to communicate out your needs. So when your heart rate goes up or your chest gets tight or you want to send that zinger, right? That email that just feels so good to send out and you're going to put somebody in their place and tell them exactly what they did wrong. You should be breathing that in and do not communicate that out. It's time to really think about how to communicate better. And we tend to communicate out in places of, like I said, fear or anxiety. And so the best thing to do is to breathe it in and realize it's time to reset and find the best way to connect, the best way to communicate in a way where I can connect to the other person. And we have a humanistic way of resolving an issue.
Yeah. I love that, that human aspect. And again, remembering that we have to bring that humanity still back in to everything we're doing. So let's look at the flip side of this. What are maybe some strategies that you would recommend to a leader if they wanted to increase the productivity of their team? Is it meeting with them one-on-one, having contests? I mean, what are some of the best ways to motivate their team and help their team be more productive?
This is going to make some people really uncomfortable. You have to start with love and care. If that makes you if that makes you uncomfortable, we're going in the right direction. Love and care is where we start to really understand how humans behave and why humans behave the way they do. And so the more I can care and really care in a loving, compassionate, empathetic way, then the more I'm curious and the more I'm going to figure out what it is that you need to be most productive. And then I can go into one-on-ones, or I can go into team meetings, or I can build culture in a way that is actually authentic to who you are.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm hearing you correctly, it's the idea of slowing down and really getting to know how they want information. It reminds me of that book, the 5 Love Languages, but in the workplace. And I know that I misstepped on that when I was a leader because I just assumed, everybody would love a gift certificate or a free lunch. But, some people, preferred time off to balance. Yeah. So we started to change it. And around the holidays, we would go to our staff and say, you have a couple options. You can either get a cash bonus, you can have a half day off. And there was one other thing in there. So they were all about the same dollar wise, but they could choose, what was going to re-energize them the most. And, it was so much better. And the feedback we received were so much better.
Yeah. And we tend to lead the way we want to be led. And statistically, that means you're only reaching about 20% of your team at any given time. Mm-hmm. So if I'm only leading the way that I think others want to be led, you're literally missing out on 80% of your team. So the more you can see the motivators, learn what their core values are, learn the things that they care about and why they care about them, the more I can incorporate that into the work.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that this sounds simple, and so many times it's easier said than done. But what do you do when you're the leader and you're in a position of the work is stacking up? I mean, you're not only running the company, you have your day-to-day things too. And sometimes having that 10-minute conversation to build feelings and bring all that in, it's like, I don't have the time for that. So what do we do when we're feeling like, can't you just get it done because I don't have the time to coddle you or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to prioritize people. It's tough to prioritize people when emotions are involved, right? And again, that's breathing in your own discomfort and thinking about what advocacy is needed or what prioritizing is needed to really make the needs of your team met so they can be more productive. The truth of it is that the majority of people are only working about 30 to 40% of their actual capacity a day. And so if I can actually help you work in a more productive way, I call this the long game, right? I want to play the long game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to prioritize you so that I can figure out how to increase your capacity to 80, 90%, right?
Amazing.
And the way it's a stat, it's real. So I also tell people all the time, you can typically increase your efficiencies and effectiveness by 1.5 times when you implement caring leadership practices. Mm-hmm. So again, it's looking at ways that I can prioritize the long game.
Yeah.
And recognize that I got to breathe in my own anxiety and my own discomfort about this workload and learn how to do this better as a leader.
And, and I don't know the study. You probably know the study better than I do. And I'm sure there's millions of them. But I remember reading something where when they were asking employees, would you prefer like a 10% raise or more recognition for the work that you're doing. And it was almost 90%, if not higher. People said they really wanted more of that validation. And I think that that's so true. And I think, when you come from that place of love, as you talked about, but that genuine humanity, I think people stay and they give more when they feel they are valued. And I know even for me on a personal note, when I was ready to say leave a job, it generally was not because of the pay. It was always because I didn't feel valued anymore. So, talk to us more. What are some other things that maybe leaders can do to recognize, validate, and show that they appreciate their people?
Yeah, I mean, there's a tipping point on salary, right? Like we all want to make sure we can have safety and security. But beyond that, people stay mostly because of their leaders. And the ways we do that is we acknowledge, who are you and what do you care about? I mean, it's so simple, but I always start with core values because I can really, truly then know what you care about and how to incorporate that into the mission of the company, the vision of our strategic plan, our team dynamic, and work we do on a daily basis, and incorporating a person's personalized sense of self. That's what we all want. We all want autonomy in our work to do the best work we possibly can. And we want to be recognized as individual human beings that are doing that. We all want to contribute to the greater good. We really do. And the people who you are currently experiencing conflict with, or that, are really resisting that greater good process, it's usually because there's a core values breakdown and there's a lack of sense of value.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I want to ask one last question, because I know we're coming to a close on our time here. Burnout. We're hearing about it all over. This is sort of my area of the wheelhouse. I spend a lot of my time working with people on, and it's real. So as a leader, what are some signs maybe that we should be looking for to see if our people are burned out, and how can we best help them? Because we all know when people are burned out, the level of productivity dramatically decreases.
Yeah, I mean, the burnout's real and we all feel it. And so really it's being able to be honest about how you're feeling on a daily basis. I always say that when somebody quits their job suddenly, it's not suddenly. They've had it in their mind for some time, and it got to a tipping point for them where there was a point of no return. So as a leader, how do I tap into how people are feeling on a daily basis, and then learn how to do the three things that I'm most hired to do, right? Like I always say, I have three priorities in my job as a leader. One is to create a safe and healthy work environment for all the people. The second is to support you in doing the best work you can possibly do, so that you're contributing to the greater good. And the third is to advocate for you in what you need to do that work and feel like the work is meaningful. So how do I do that? I got to tap in. I got to check in. I got to know what's going on. And that's creating trust and breaking down barriers and making sure that our psychological safety is there so truth conversations can happen.
Yeah. I think you've hit on so many really key points. I love this idea of, again, the genuine care and concern. And I realize that it is a work environment. I realize that a lot of people watching are very high powered people. And it's not that we have to sit down and have a picnic with them every day, but again, just taking that one extra moment to, again, listen to them and really understanding when do we need to have more high quality communication versus when can we just have, text messages and emails, and just, again, taking that time. And I believe with you 100% that the culture we develop, that could really encourage people to stay. Because some of the best places that I ever worked is where I felt that my team members had my back. All of us were in this position of no one thought of it's not my job. If somebody was out sick, I stepped in, no questions asked, to help her because I know she would do it for me. And it was so, rewarding. Even on days where I was in a bad mood, by the time I got to the office, I was laughing. And I've also had experiences where it was just the opposite, where I remember crying my way to work because I didn't want to be there. So I think, again, as a leader, we have to really start and to take responsibility for, creating that. And I know one of the things that Simon Sinek has talked about in one of his books, The Infinite Game, is talking about how it's a trickle down. We all worry about the bottom line, but if as leaders, we focus on our team will take care of the bottom line for us.
Absolutely. And if it makes you uncomfortable to think about love and care in connection to accountability, then it's time to really dive in and figure out what that really means.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Christine, thank you so much for joining us. And I know you've got a lot going on. So tell us, where can we find you and what's next for you?
Yeah, I have two ways. One is on my website. It's Roam, ROAM, roamyoursoul.com. And the other one is a podcast that I have going on where we highlight amazing women in leadership and their amazing stories. And that's on theexecutiveslounge.christinefonner.com.
Excellent. Wow. Thank you so much for being here, Christine. Learned so much from you. And for all of you, I hope you're taking lots of notes because as leaders, we have a lot of power to create and foster more productivity, which again, impacts the bottom line. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages for more Be Productive.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course. My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250,000 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Thank you for watching today's episode, all about leadership and how, as leaders, we really can set the stage for high levels of productivity with our teams. We talked about the importance of leading with our vision and our mission, talking about creating a safe environment where we can have feedback and open discussions, and also maintaining that we're setting clear expectations. As a leader, it is up to you to make sure that you are paying attention to your people. And again, fostering those levels of not just creativity and focus, but really making sure that your people feel a part of a culture that they can show up and be their best.